size, yeah. My top favorite right now this year was the Freight Ranch Batch 12 Farm Strength. So my name is Patrick. I got into bourbon kind of in a roundabout way. About 10, 11 years ago, I kind of wanted a hobby that I could get into, something that I could enjoy, and I actually got into Scotch first. I started with single malt Scotch. Definitely was a little snobby and was like, oh, if it's not 12 years, and if it's not Scotch. But over time, I started to just branch out, got a little more curious about things, and I noticed that price point on bourbon was a little lower. I'm sure there's all sorts of reasons. It was made in America. Big fan of America. Just started picking up things and started to look. I was a big fan of the Whiskey Tribe YouTube channel and Whiskey Vault also, and watching the reviews and things like that, and just started grabbing bottles and things like that. And over time, my palate has just kind of gravitated towards more of it, to where the bottles that I have in my collection are probably about 65-70% American whiskey. It's just one of those. It's a lot of fun to talk about. There's so much depth to it. There's history, there's science, there's alchemy, everything that goes to it. All of the distillery tours and things like that are a lot of fun to go talk to these people, how they make their whiskey, how they, all the different processes, all the unique things, all different mash bills. It was just something that I could really focus in on the nerdiness of it. There's so much depth to American whiskey in general, that everything from grain through distillation to barrel aging and everything like that, to batching and blending. So that's my bourbon story. So I recently joined up as a Pursuit Spirits ambassador. So here we're tasting the Pursuit Spirits rye and bourbon. I was a big fan of the podcasts. In this last state that I live in, they weren't distributed in. And I had already sent a message saying, hey, when you get to the state, I want to join up. It's another fun way for me to annoy people talking about whiskey. So when we moved to Texas, they were still advertising the need for ambassadors in the Houston area, and boom, here we are. So I sent them an email, went through the process, and got my certificate to pour alcohol, and here I am doing my tastings. If you listen to the podcast, they'll put out feelers for people in different states. You send an email off to them, and Kenny, who is on the ball, will immediately email you back, usually within an hour or so. There's a process to fill it out for different states. Sometimes you have to, like Texas, get a certificate. It's like a 2-hour online class. It costs you about $10. There's a whole training manual. There's tips and tricks and things like that. They do ambassador calls for all the new people, so you can get an idea of how the process works. And then basically they just communicate with them when you go to a store, make sure the stores have bottles, and then you send in an after report about how well you did or how bad you did. That's pretty much the process.